All right, so we're going to talk about surface area and volume of cylinders. And remember, a cylinder is like a can or, something round that is going to hold something. So let's just review circles for a moment. If we talk about the area of the circle, remember that formula is pi r squared. And when we talk about the area, remember we're talking about how much space is inside here. That's the area of the circle. The circumference of a circle, that formula is 2 pi r. And when we talk about that, remember we're talking about this outside edge. What's the length of that outside edge? That's your circumference. Okay? So when we talk about the surface area, okay, it's a sort of a long formula, but hopefully we're going to understand it in just a moment. We're going to say 2 pi r squareds plus 2 pi r times h. Okay, so remember, now we're talking about three-dimensional shapes here. So this formula means I've got 2 pi r squareds. So look, that's the top of my can and the bottom of my can. Then this 2 pi r h, so the 2 pi r squared, remember that's going to be the area of this top of the can, the area of the bottom of the can, because I'm covering surface area means all the exposed sides. Then the 2 pi r h, that's covering all this, the round part of the can. Think about that's going to be the label of it. So when we say we've got 2 pi r squareds, it's because we've got these two circles on the top and the bottom, and then this 2 pi r h is that circumference times that height of it. So notice where these two formulas are coming from. 2 pi r, 2 pi r. It's the circumference of that times however tall this cylinder is. Okay, so that's the formula for surface area. Let's just go do one before we even get into the volume of it. Remember, R stands for your radius. So let's just try to do an example. I'm going to draw a little bit cleaner cylinder here. Okay, let's say this thing is 5 centimeters tall, and remember that radius from the center to the outside edge, and that, let's just say that is 2 centimeters. All right, so we're going to take this formula for the surface area. So surface area is 2 pi, remember that's 3.14, times the radius, which is 2, and then we're going to square that radius, plus 2 pi radius, which is 2, times the height, which is 5. Okay, so let's just put in, remember that 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times 2 squared, plus 2 times pi, which is going to be 3.14, times 2 times 5. Okay, so remember, order of operations. We've got to do all of this first, or really we're going to make sure we square this thing first. So 2 squared is 4, times the 3.14 times 2, that gives us 25.12 or 12 hundredths, plus 2 times the 3.14 times 2 times 5. That gives us 62 8/10. So then we have to add those two together, and that gives us approximately 87.92 centimeters for our surface area, and that is squared. Okay. You want to try another one maybe? Let's just look at another one here. So let's say it's 6. Remember, if they happen to give you that full length across there, that is your diameter. It is not your radius. You have to cut that in half. Okay, so let's try it again. Surface area is 2 pi, well, let me write the formula, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So 2 times pi times the radius. The radius is from the center of the circle to the outside, 9 squared plus 2 times pi times the radius times the height of our cylinder. Okay, let's go do all that. Remember, you've got to square that 9 first, then multiply it. You've got to follow your order of operations. So that gives us 508 and 68 hundredths plus 2 times 3.14 times 9 times 6. You can do all that and get this. Now, add the two together. You're going to get approximately 847 and 8/10 inches squared. Okay, so there's a couple of examples of our surface area. Now let's go do a volume of cylinders. All right, so the formula for the volume of a cylinder, remember, the volume is always the base times the height, where that capital B, that base, is the area of the base shape. Well, we're talking about cylinders here, so that means the area of a circle. And we know the area of a circle is pi r squared times then the height of the cylinder. Okay, so let's just go do a few of those, finding the volume. Let's say, and remember, volume means how much is it going to hold. Let's say that's 3 meters. And this is 10 meters for my height. Okay, so volume is pi 3.14 times the radius, which is 3, squared times your height, which is 10. Again, remember, you've got to go square that number first. So 3 squared is 9. Then times the 10. So 3.14 times 9 times 10 leaves us with a volume of 282 and 6/10 meters cubed. Okay, so as long as you can follow those formulas, it's not too bad. It's just really slowing down and making sure you follow those formulas. Don't try to skip any steps. Pi times the radius squared times the height of the object. So 4 squared, it means 4 times 4, which is 16, then times 5. So now we can multiply all that together and get 251 and 2/10. What are these units? I always forget to write those. Centimeters cubed.